everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I'm a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today, I'm going to talk about what our summer schedule looks like when we homeschool year-round. When people hear me say that I homeschool my kids all summer long, people often get concerned that my kids are sitting at the kitchen table for like 7 hours a day and they're missing out on the joys of summer. And that's not true at all. There are some incredible benefits to homeschooling over the summer. I talked all about that last week. Our school year is designed to have different switches in our schedule to accommodate the fact that we have different schedules at different points in the year. For example, we don't have as many activities over the summer because a lot of our classes don't run over the summer. There's no gymnastics, there's no Girl Guides, there's no choir. So we aren't doing those activities, so our schedule changes. We can be outside for more time because we have more light, it's warmer, the weather is better. We can actually be outside without freezing our butts off in -40. Our schedule changes. Things affect our schedule in ways that mean that we have to have different schedules at different points in the year. And so we have a very different schedule in September than we do, come the spring or even, and especially during summer. So our schedule is different and we're allowed to have different schedules at different points in the year. So typically during like this fall or over the winter, my kids do on average, it's averaging right now between 1.5 to 2 hours of schoolwork, depending on how much lollygagging they accomplish during their time. Sometimes they're a little more lollygaggerish. Sometimes they have some more shenanigans going on. Takes a little longer. But for the most part, about 1.5 to 2 hours is their full academic day. Then we move on to other pursuits in life. During the summer, we cut that back to 45 minutes to an hour. So roughly half of what they would normally be doing. And it's kind of like, it does give us a lot more flexibility in what we're doing. So how does that schedule actually differ? So the first thing that we do over the summer is we don't do a unit study. There's no science, there's no social studies over the summer. We eliminate that entire section of subjects and we only focus on math and language. I just find that it cuts down our time significantly. And because we're like outside doing so many things, we're doing a lot of that like sciencey learning stuff anyway. So for example, we do a huge garden every year. My kids are right in there with us, weeding, gardening, looking for pests, pruning. They're doing those things. They're getting that kind of botany education. We're building stuff. This year we're building a lot. We're working on a shed. We're reseeding the yard. We've had an excavator here for the past like 3 days. Things are happening in our backyard and our kids get to be a part of that. So when it comes time to build the shed, they'll be part of like the actual hands-on working and building the shed. So I just feel like I'm very comfortable eliminating science and social studies from our schedule and just focusing on 2 subjects and just letting the rest be kind of more organic, natural life learning. So that is the first thing that is different. We take out a whole bunch of subjects. Focusing on reading, writing, math, that is our goal for the summer. In terms of writing, Zoe is continuing to work in her phonics book. She has been doing this. She started a little bit late in the year on this phonics book. And so she's just going to continue doing her phonics and working on her phonics and her sounds in her current phonics book because she's about halfway to go. Alexi, and they're both will do their daily language skills, which is a book from Chalkboard Publishing. They will both be doing that because it is kind of like a daily 5-minute, 10-minute grammar, spelling, punctuation type of lesson. Okay. And then in terms of writing, Zoe, because she's focused on phonics, that's what she's working on. Alexi is going to be doing some daily journaling and she's going to be using the Essential Writing Journal. This was a journal that I designed for her. You can get it. It is available on my website. I'll put the link down below. But essentially it is a guided journal. So there are different types of prompts, questions for them to answer, and pictures for them to draw. And so she can do one of these every single day. There's 60 different questions. And this will be her kind of writing assignment. It should take her maybe 15-20 minutes to write something out, draw a picture, and then she'll be good to go. So this writing journal was designed for kids to get some ideas, opinions, practice their writing in a way that is fun and accessible, and it is available online. All the same questions, but in 7 different covers. So lots of options, and it's a great option for summer because it doesn't have the same rigidity. Like she can pick any prompt she wants for that day. I don't care if they're done in order. It's all about her kind of what she's thinking and what she wants to do and what she wants to convince me of. So it gives her a lot of ownership without a lot of pressure. And so that's what we're doing for writing. For reading, typically over the summer, I have found that the best thing for us is to do something like an author studies or a book series. A couple years ago, inadvertently, we did the entire Bad Guy series over summer, what was available up to that point. I think we read 17 Bad Guy graphic novels over the summer. We've done Dragon Girls. We've done a couple different series. This year, one year we did an author study where we did a whole bunch of different works. So this year, we are going to be doing 3 books by Roald Dahl. We're going to be doing Witches, we're going to be doing Matilda, and we're going to do James and the Giant Peach. We've already done Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Fantastic Mr. Fox before. I do have them, so if you want to read them again, we can. But that's kind of our 3 big books that we're going to read over the summer. And every morning I will read aloud a chapter and we'll read together. And that will be part of our homeschooling day. When it comes to math, they basically are just going to continue in their math books. Zoe still has a little bit to go in her current grade 2 book, and Alexi just started grade 4 a little bit early, so she's got a lot in her workbook, and we just kind of continue on 1 or 2 pages a day depending on what the activity is, obviously, and we just keep kind of trucking along with the math. It's not a lot, usually ends up being about like 8 or 9 questions total, and for Alexi I think it's always around 5 or 6, and then we kind of like just move on. We just kind of keep a little bit every day when it comes to math. And then the only other thing that we expect from them, Zoe continues doing her speech therapy, and then both of them do piano practice. And the piano practice is kind of considered part of their like morning chores. They do their piano. Alexi will also do Duolingo because she's obsessed with being at the top of her league. So she will do a Duolingo. But that's basically what our day looks like. They do a little bit of writing, which is like 20 minutes. They're going to do about 15-20 minutes of math. I'm going to read to them for 15-20 minutes, so we're at an hour, and then they do piano. Like that's their entire day. And then they get to move on with life after they do chores, of course, because we do school, then we do chores. And then they get to move on with life and do everything else that is out in nature. The only other thing that we think about when it comes to school over the summer is I do have one more rule. Basically, the rule is if we're at home in the morning, we're doing school. That is like the simplest way to do it. If we are home during the morning, we're doing school. If we are not home during the morning, we don't do school. The reason I like this rule is because it gives very clear boundaries of like what I am not going to do with our schoolwork. So if we are going to go travel to visit my sister, for example, or Stefan's uncle or something like that, we are not bringing our workbooks with us. We are going to be exploring. We're going to be spending time with family. We're going to be, traveling. I'm not bringing your workbooks with us. I might bring a novel, more so just because it's something to read if we're stopped somewhere or like before bed, kind of keeping that bedtime routine or something like that. But like, I'm not bringing your math book. I'm not doing it. You're going to be doing enough learning that if we're home during the morning, most days, you can do school. And if we're not going to be home because we're camping or traveling or going to an amusement park, then we're going to just take those days and enjoy that. So like, even though I say we homeschool all year round, we're still taking days off throughout the summer. My kids we booked them in for 1 week of summer camp. It's like a day camp at their gymnastics place. They're not doing school that whole week. I'm not waking them up and being like, okay, you got to get your math done before you can go to gymnastics camp. Like, no, they have a week of activities and learning skills and all that. They can go and do that. I'm not going to like put more school on them for that just because things are going on. If we're home in the morning, we do school. If we're, home in the morning, we're going out with friends in the afternoon, you can do school. That's fine. If we're doing an activity. Like for example, we did sign up and are going to continue to do jiu-jitsu over the summer. Because we're keeping a bit low key this summer. We're not doing a ton of traveling. Last year we went to New York. We did a lot of stuff last year. We're not going to be doing as much this year because we are working on a lot of projects here at the house. So because we aren't doing as much traveling and like going places, we did sign them up for jiu-jitsu so that they would have one activity that's kind of consistent every week. And the other nice thing that like kind of did for myself is that like, because we live about 40 minutes outside of town, it did give us an excuse to go into town one day a week. So kind of something that can break up my schedule and my routine a little bit is like going into jiu-jitsu, and then we can go and like go to Costco and do a grocery run and, you know, maybe pick up something in town. So it works out for our schedule a little bit that way. But on a jiu-jitsu day, I'm not going to expect them to do homeschool work. They're going to jiu-jitsu. That's enough for the morning. So that's kind of like how we run the summer. And it gives us a really nice balance of spontaneity, which my husband desperately needs. But it also gives us a lot of flexibility. So he knows he can be spontaneous after the kids are done their schoolwork. If we're not going, like, hey, you guys want to go over to Meme's and go jump in the lake? After we're done with schoolwork, we can spend the whole day at the lake. And that kind of really it's kind of been something that we've had to work through over the couple of years. But we've definitely found that as a nice balance. And it works really, really well for our family. So our summer schooling does look different than our fall schooling. It's a little more relaxed. It has a few extra days off during the week and stuff, depending on what's coming up. And it just works for our family. So that's what we do over the summer. I do want to take a minute to remind you that planners are available. The Essential Homeschool Planner, available right alongside the Essential Writing Journal. Reading journals, science journals, nature journals are really popular over the summer. All that is available on the website. And I also want to remind you that typically I take the entire month of July off of creating new videos. So while you will find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, you will not find new videos released for the month of July unless you are a member. You will be getting your 2 bonus member videos, but everybody else, you will have to wait until August when I come back with a whole bunch of new incredible content, which I'm very excited about. I have my own personal summer plans and secret summer projects. Wink, wink. And I'm very excited to get to work on those. So I'm going to take July off and focus and get some really cool things done and enjoy my garden and go to the lake and do all the things that we want to do because the weather's nice. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys back the first week of August.